Like, share and subscribe. Welcome to Mind Clarity, the Elves and the Shoemaker. A tale of kindness and gratitude. Once upon a time, in a small village, there lived a humble shoemaker and his wife. Though they were hard-working and honest, they had fallen on hard times. They barely earned enough to buy food, and the shoemaker could only afford leather for one last pair of shoes. As he sat at his workbench one evening, he sighed deeply. "I will cut the leather for one final pair of shoes," he told his wife. "Tomorrow, I will sew them and hope they sell, or else we have nothing left." He carefully cut the leather and left it on his workbench, ready to be stitched in the morning. Then, exhausted from worry and work, he went to bed. The mysterious shoes. The next morning, the shoemaker was astonished. There, on his workbench, stood a perfectly finished pair of shoes. The stitching was flawless, the design elegant, and the craftsmanship beyond anything he had ever created. The shoemaker showed the shoes to his wife, who was equally amazed. "That's strange," she said. "Who could have done this?" The shoemaker took the shoes to the market, where a wealthy merchant immediately purchased them for a high price. With the money, the shoemaker bought leather for 2 more pairs of shoes. That evening, he cut the leather for the shoes and left it on his workbench, intending to sew them the next day. Once again, when morning came, the shoemaker found 2 pairs of exquisitely crafted shoes on his bench. He sold them quickly, earning enough money to buy even more leather. This pattern continued for several nights. He would leave the cut leather on his workbench, and by morning, the shoes would be beautifully finished. The shoemaker's success soon. The shoemaker became well known for his exceptional shoes. Customers from far and wide came to his shop, and he and his wife were no longer poor. They were able to buy plenty of food, warm clothes, and even a cozy new bed. Yet, the mystery remained. Who was crafting the shoes during the night? Discovering the elves one evening, as Christmas approached, the shoemaker said to his wife, "We must find out who is helping us. Let's stay awake tonight and see who comes." They hid behind a curtain in the workshop, leaving a small lamp burning. As the clock struck midnight, they saw 2 tiny figures slip into the room. They were elves, no taller than a child's hand, dressed in ragged clothes. The elves climbed onto the workbench and began working with incredible speed and skill. Their tiny hands stitched, hammered, and polished until the shoes were complete. The shoemaker and his wife watched in awe. When the elves finished their work, they disappeared into the night. "A gift for the elves," the shoemaker's wife said. "These little elves have helped us so much, and look at their clothes. They are so worn and thin. We must show them our gratitude." The couple decided to make gifts for the elves. The wife sewed tiny shirts, trousers, and coats from the finest fabric, while the shoemaker crafted small, sturdy shoes to keep their feet warm. They worked tirelessly, pouring their gratitude into every stitch and seam. On Christmas Eve, instead of leaving leather on the workbench, the shoemaker and his wife laid out the tiny clothes and shoes. Then they hid behind the curtain again to watch. The elves' joy at midnight. The elves appeared as usual. When they saw the beautiful clothes and shoes, their eyes lit up with delight. They quickly dressed in their new outfits, laughing and admiring how fine they looked. One elf said, "We are free now, for we have been rewarded for our work." The other replied, "Let's dance and celebrate." The elves sang and danced around the workshop, their laughter filling the room. After a while, they disappeared into the night and were never seen again. A prosperous life. Though the elves never returned, the shoemaker and his wife continued to prosper. The shoemaker's reputation for quality work grew, and he always remembered the kindness of the little elves who had saved them in their time of need. The couple lived happily ever after, their hearts full of gratitude for the magical visitors who had transformed their lives. Moral of the story: the tale of the elves and the shoemaker teaches the importance of kindness, hard work, and gratitude. The elves' selfless help saved the shoemaker, and the couple's thoughtful gesture in return showed the power of generosity and appreciation. When we support one another, even in small ways, we create a world of joy and prosperity for all.